Emma, would you mind lending me a hand? Yeah. Leave it to me. What do you want me to do? Let's see. Use your luminol reagent to test for a blood reaction, if you would, please. Okay, let me show you the power of science. The glint in her eyes is getting brighter by the second. Let's start by examining the ladder over there. Based on Miss Hart's picture, well, there should be because he climbed up the ladder. The person in the red raincoat headed towards that ladder. Chances are something will turn up if we check there. Just touch anything you want to examine. If you do, you'll be able to spray the luminol reagent. If there's a bloodstain on the spot where you sprayed, you'll get a reaction like this. Even so, no matter how many times I see bloodstains, they're always so gruesome. There's a blood reaction here, but it's kind of faint. Let's spray it with luminol 2 or 3 more times, so it'll be nice and clear. You can see it clearly now. Looks even more gruesome than before. Do you understand how to look for bloodstains now? There are probably a few more bloodstains here, so why don't you give it a try, Mr. Edgeworth? Well, it'll be on the ladder. Because he climbed up the ladder. Let's search for the rest of the storeroom for bloodstains just like that. Though I don't know why he'd put it on the side there. I don't know why he'd just grab the rungs. I don't know. I grab rungs when I climb a fucking ladder. Or at least that kind of ladder for sure. First, let's look for a place to spray the luminol reagent. Over here. For sure. Please examine the places you want to spray luminol on. Okay. You want to examine this spot? Yep. Let's spray luminol on every suspicious looking nook and cranny. She does the meme. Nice, some shit here. Mr. Edgeworth, there's a reaction. It's a bloodstain. Why in a place like this? Perhaps this is where the murder took place. Ah! Looks like some of the blood dripped down to the floor below. Blood and hidden lift data. Mr. Edgeworth, there are places we still haven't checked yet. So let's continue our investigation. You want to examine this spot? Unfortunately, there were no reactions here. You want to examine this spot? Fortunately, there wasn't anything. Oh, it could actually be in here, yeah. Let's spray the luminol on every suspicious looking nook and cranny. I feel like it's gonna, like the body was hidden in here. Mr. Edgeworth, there's a bloodstain here too. However, why is there a bloodstain in a place like this? Maybe something that had blood on it was stored inside. Nice. Looks like we found all the bloodstains in the storeroom. Seems we have investigated the storeroom sufficiently. Yep. Let's combine these two things real quick. The reason why we found a bloodstain in the costume trunk is because the murderer hid the body in that box. I wonder who won the bid for it. The trunk, I mean. That I don't know. In a certain way, everything worked out exactly as someone wanted. Hold it, hold it. It couldn't have been in that dressing box. What do you mean? When I first came down here, that box caught my eye too. It was just the right side and would have made the perfect hiding place. That's what I thought anyway. But I couldn't get the dang thing to open. It would have been wrapped up real tight with a locked chain. Yeah, they unlocked it. The murder happened right after that, so hiding a body in there would have been impossible, you know? A chain wrapped around it. That's a bit strange. I know, it doesn't seem to be locked up at all. Huh? That's weird. Maybe my eyes were playing tricks on me or something. Costume trunk data. Like, it's obviously been unlocked. That could have been the thumb, too. Like, the chain hitting the ground. And with that, I believe we have examined everything there is to examine here. Well, then, let's head down. Oh? We decide on our next destination. Hey, Kay. Yes, Mr. Shields? We wouldn't want you to get lost, so make sure you stay real close to Uncle Ray, okay? Right. I'll follow you closely, Mr. Shields. Base. These two, since when did they get along like that? What the fuck? Mad. Grand Tower PIC meeting room. Wow, this literally is in the middle. Huh. What? Mr. Edgeworth! Wow. This place is literally... Is this the auction hall? Yep. No, it's the meeting room from before. How nice of you to drop in, Kay Faraday. You've got some guts. Hey, you guys, arrest her! Arrest her! Wait, Kay is. As for the rest of you, the riffraff, to show them to the door. Thanks, Lotta. This is tyranny! Yeah, it's tyranny, pal! Miles, it's kinda bad! The light of justice shines above me. Ha ha! Ow! What? Me too! Oh, that's strange. I was aiming for that weak ex-prosecutor. You're clearly aiming at me! Maybe something got in my way. Particularly... Ah! Right around there. Francisca? How's it going? Just what do you think you're doing here, ex-prosecutor Miles Edgeworth? I do not believe that Kay is the culprit behind this incident. You're just an ordinary man without an investigation rights. What you say does not matter. I am Francisca von Karma. I will never stop moving forward. However, you chose to quit. The outcome of our battle has already been decided. Says you. I cast away my badge because it became a millstone around my neck. I shall continue moving forward even without it. The path I walk will surely lead to the truth. My actions are driven by that belief, and that is something that will never change. So you're saying that you've found a path to the truth? Then show it to me. Sure. But if that path proves to be a foolish one, it will not survive my wit. Fine by me. The victim used her keycard and entered this room with the culprit. Then the culprit stabbed the victim in the chest with the candelabra, killing her. Shouldn't the letter make it obvious who the culprit is? Of course, the crime scene was right here in this room. The PIC meeting room. Was it? The proof is the bloodstain we found here in the meeting room. That settles it, Miles Edgeworth. I could, object to 8 things. Miss Von Karma seems really confident, doesn't she? I see. She's firing one, isn't she? I don't mind a feisty cutie. It's all about an introduction. How repulsive. Well, Miles Edgeworth, can you break my logic? If you truly have no intention of stopping here, prove it to me with evidence. Very well. I'll show you, Francisco. The evidence that paves my path. I mean, I have 8 things. There's blood over here. There's blood over here. There's testimony. Auction continue after the murder. There's more than one way to get in? Which one do I want to attack? But we can't disprove that just because there's another way in. Culprit stabbed the victim in the chest with the candelabra, killing her. That's probably true. Shouldn't the letter make it obvious who the culprit is? Of course, the crime scene was right here, in this room. PIC meeting room. Can I, like, present this? Well, no, it'll be like, oh, that doesn't do anything. Proof is the bloodstain we found here in the meeting room. There's blood up here. There we go. If memory serves me correctly, the blood in the meeting room was found in front of the statue of Lady Justice, was it not? Oh, did it literally just pour down? That'd be gross as fuck. To murder someone before Lady Justice, this culprit knows no fear. I wonder about that. Have a look at this piece of evidence. Blood was found in the storeroom right above the meeting room. As you can see, there are signs that it has dripped down onto the floor below. And right under the hidden lift is the statue of Lady Justice. And you understand, the murder did not take place here. The killer murdered the victim in the storeroom and then moved the body to this room. What Lady Justice witnessed was a coward trying to conceal their crime, and not the moment of a murder. Well, she didn't witness anything. She's blind. She's smiling. You smiling? Pardon me, I just remembered a conversation quite similar to this one. As I expected, Miles Edgeworth. Such naivety couldn't possibly be an act. Because I was Mr. Edgeworth naive. Ow. I'm getting to that. So, calm down. Have you forgotten, or are you just playing the foolish fool? The amount of blood in the meeting room is clearly greater than in the storeroom. I guess. Such a large amount of blood couldn't have simply dripped from the floor above. And even if it had, there should have been much more blood left behind in the storeroom. Wait, what conversation from before? Is this out of order? The murder could not have occurred anywhere other than this meeting room. You're as predictable as always, Francisca. How does she know this fucking knowledge? The sheer fact that there's a fucking extra room should be like, wait, what the fuck? There's an extra room. What? The difference in the amount of blood is just as you say. The question is, why does such a difference exist? That issue is trivial. I've already explained it with my perfect logic. In that case, how do you explain the blood that was found in the storeroom? I don't suppose you're going to tell me that it somehow sprayed all the way up there. Like a water fountain? No way! Exactly, it's impossible. In other words, the reason for the difference in the amount of blood is the amount of blood in the meeting room and the storeroom are different because... Ooh, the weapon was pulled out here. Yeah, probably that. The victim died of a stab wound. Naturally, there would be a significant amount of blood loss. That's obvious just from the looking at the blood stain. That's so weird. She was attacked in the storeroom, but there was less blood found there than... Silence, you third-rate prosecutor. But I'm the best. Do you know when you lose the most blood after getting stabbed with a sharp object? Ah, I know. It's when the sharp object is pulled out, right? Precisely. Well, yeah, because it's holding it together, technically. After being stabbed with the candelabra, the body was moved to the meeting room. And then the murder weapon was pulled out right here in this very room. That would account for the difference in the amount of blood that was left behind. But why would the culprit go through all that trouble? Most likely to give the impression that the murder occurred in the meeting room. They also cleaned up that room, by the way. Or the, storeroom. It seems Miss Crane's keycard was used last. But based on the time of use, it must have been a ploy by the culprit to mislead us. In all likelihood, it was the culprit who used the keycard to enter the meeting room. Why would the culprit have needed to do that? Perhaps they feared that the storeroom would be found out during the investigation. Yeah, because there would have been no one that entered here. If it not for using the keycard. Because it would show that nobody entered or exited that room, and it would have been impossible for the murder to occur, which means there's a different way in here. And that would have immediately led to the discovery of the storeroom. If they were involved in the auction, they would not have wanted it to become public. The auction, you say? Perhaps you should go upstairs and see for yourself what items are on display. I'm sure that will allow you to understand what occurred here. Impressive, Miles Edgeworth. You're willing to go that far to protect her. Sure. There's something big lurking behind the scenes of this case. Kay simply got caught up in it. You're exaggerating. Am I now? More than anyone, I would think you'd understand the significance behind all this. Why would you, a prosecutor working with Interpol, be involved in a domestic case? Because you need to shut this shit down. Wasn't your objective to crush a certain international smuggling ring? You search for smuggled goods has led you here. Then isn't this feeling I have related to the case? I believe you haven't lost your touch, even though you've turned in your badge. It's just a badge. I've heard about your situation. From Scruffy over there. Thanks, Gumshoe. Sorry, sir. I just wanted to help out somehow. A wise decision, Detective. Well, for once. Francisco, are you the one in charge of this case? Isn't Interpol pursuing the black market auction? What if I am? That's not something you need to know. So you knew about all this at the very beginning. You knew the black market auction was being held right here. What? Hey, mind if I butt in? Yeah, I actually do mind. About that gal who turned up dead. You. Hey, I ain't done talking yet. Yeah, you ain't changed a lick. This case doesn't need a fragment of your faulty testimony. What you saying? I'm a bona fide journal. Back then, you gave false testimony. You fucked me over. This one Carver seems to really dislike Lotta. I can't say she's fond of her. Ain't that Crane gal one of them PIC members? Maybe. She's a spitting image of the conductor. I reckon she's... Meow. She hit me. She hit me again. What is the meaning of this? Answer me, Miles Edgeworth. From Miss Hard's testimony, we obtained a description of what the conductor was wearing, and it matches what the victim Joe Crane was wearing. You mean to say the one who was murdered was the conductor? So, Governor, maybe you should call. It seems that in fact it's just been brought to light. Indeed, I came here in pursuit of the black market auction, in order to arrest the organizer of the event. In other words, the conductor. You should arrest all of the people that are involved with it, but whatever. And literally, the only reason a black market exists and an auction exists is because there's people willing to pay for it. If we believe Miss Hard's testimony, then the conductor is already dead. Wouldn't that mean that your investigation has ended in vain? That's right. However, I swear on my name that I will not return empty-handed. I challenge you, Miles Edgeworth. Challenge is fine, but why is she readying her whip like she's out for a victim of her own? I don't actually think she's the conductor, but whatever. I will concede your argument. The murder occurred in the storeroom, correct? That would mean the culprit someone who participated in the auction. If that photographer is correct, the victim was the conductor and the culprit was a customer. The culprit waited for the victim in the storeroom, where the goods were delivered. Then they stabbed the victim in the chest with the candelabra in the storeroom. That is all. I trust you have no objections. Unfortunately, that is not the case, because there is a hole in your testimony. As expected, Mr. Edgeworth, I didn't notice anything at all. Well then, please settle this with one blow. He went upstairs. Yeah, of course. Watch as I crush her logic. He didn't return. I'll concede your argument. The murder occurred in the storeroom. Right. That is true. In her testimony, that's what she said. Auction continued even after Jill Crane's murder. This would imply that she's not the conductor. So I'm just gonna present this and just say that she's not the conductor because the auction continued. Didn't think so. So like that's what I would say is the contradiction. She can say she's the conductor all she wants, but the fact is that the thing continued on even after she died. As long as she has her whip, words alone won't reach her. You'll need to present evidence. Right, I won't let her whip me again. I don't like that. Culprit waited for the victim in the storeroom where the goods were delivered. We don't know why. Raincoat. Photo taken just after the crime was taken by Lotta, who had snuck onto after the conductor and another person entered the storeroom. One of them started screaming. What's next? Fuck. First glance, her logic seems to hold up, but something just doesn't feel quite right. I need to draw out more information. Miss Hart was in the storeroom at the time. Could the culprit really have been waiting there? I don't know where she was hiding, but since you've seen it, you must know as well. There are numerous hiding places in that storeroom. So the culprit was hiding while they waited for the victim to arrive. I believe the crime occurred after the auction ended. That's not true. After all, the victim was the organizer of the auction, the conductor. During the auction, the organizer would have been in front of the customers the entire time. After the auction ended. Please add that statement to your testimony. Yep. So I was right. I just need to draw something else out. Which is why I don't think this chick actually was the conductor. I think she was just a regular person. But she's a liability to the person that is the conductor, which is the person that probably killed her. Because she was going to give stuff to Kay, and that would have proved that there's an illegal black market. That's going to get out. Hammer's going to come down on them super hard, and they're going to get fucked. As I thought, you are one step behind, as always. What did you say? The victim was not the conductor, and I approve. Miss Hart's testimony. The photographer's testimony is not trustworthy. What y'all saying? I'm a bona fide journal owl. Cease your idle chatter. Ah. Francisca, calm down and listen. Miss Hart witnessed a part of the murder. The main point here is that after witnessing the murder, she says the auction continued. That's right. Sure as can be. They all just kept going on shamelessly. Do you think the auction could have continued without someone conducting it? If the victim was not the conductor, the person killed must have been a customer. No. As I said from the beginning, Kay is not the culprit. After all, she herself was attacked by someone and lost consciousness. In which case, that would also make her a victim. The auction continued after the incident occurred. Yes, and the victim was not the conductor but a customer. That's enough. That voice. What, time to cover up this little powwow? Order in the court, the chairman will now enter. My, no need to be so stiff. Actually, feel free to call me Blase-E. Well then, Blase-E, what brings you here? Huh? Well, I just wanted to see my idiot son. Was working hard, is all. Is this kind of father-son relationship really healthy? No. I'd come to light a fire under you, but it seems I found an unexpected bonus. To think that the criminal, who has become the talk of the town, would be here, of all places. Everyone, restrain the suspect at once. Please wait, Kay Faraday is not the culprit. Silence! This is quite troublesome, Edgeworth. Didn't I tell you earlier? The PIC desires a quick resolution to this case. Yeah, because you're trying to hide your shit. If it's not, we could lose our trust in the public. They'll call us the Waste of Time Committee. You know what's troubling for me as well. That sort of thing. And at my age too. Sniff. On top of that, an illegal investigation is not something that I can overlook. Fuck off. Have you forgotten you are no longer a prosecutor? You have lost all your authority. Furthermore, you have aided a criminal in evading the law. Maybe. That part's probably true. Yes, that's right. You're so reliable, Courtney. I'm aware of the consequences of my actions. You may punish me as you wish, however, we have found a new suspect. It's the person pictured here. Kay Faraday was attacked by this person, and of fucking course. There's no need for your explanation. Yeah, because you don't give a fuck. Great. Good talk. Just recently, a red raincoat was discovered in the vicinity of this building. The victim's blood and the cherry blossom petals were found on the hood. Cherry blossom petals. Now that you mention it, on the viewing platform. Yes, they probably stuck on due to the blood. They were littered around the bloodstain. And we've received the forensic report on the blood, you know. There's no doubt about it. The person in that photo is the victim, Joe Crane. That is absolutely fucking brain dead. What did you say? Actually, literally brain dead. This is impossible. That would be a completely destroy the foundations of our logic. It's literally not. Warned by the victim, the fingerprints and blood were found on the hood. Her blood's on the hood? Wow. She could have just been hit in it. She could have been wearing it at the time. Then someone else put it on. There's so many reasons for this to not even be the case. It's absolutely ridiculous. Oh, is Kay's fingerprints on it? No. Okay, cool. This, like, reeks of just fake evidence. It just reeks of it. And even if it wasn't, this doesn't prove anything. Who did she stab then? Exactly. We had to believe the person in the red raincoat was the culprit. And now it turns out, that person's actually the murder victim. Wait. If that's the case, then the prime suspect would be. Miss Faraday, you met a person in a red raincoat on the rooftop, did you not? Making shit up now. Yes, I did, but... The person in the red raincoat was the murder victim. And Kay Faraday came into contact with that person. So she killed her in that raincoat, took the raincoat off, threw it somewhere else, put on a suit with pants, and then stabbed her again? What? What? This is so fucking stupid. Since one of the parties is now dead, what happened next should be clear. Kay was attacked by that person. As the victim, it would be impossible for her to be the culprit. Actually, even if she was attacked, because we know there's no evidence she was attacked, is there? What? Look at her! What do you mean? Do you think this is a joke? Oh my fucking god. I'm getting brain damage. What is wrong with you? You're so fucking stupid. What? Is there any evidence she was attacked? Look at her. What do you mean is there evidence? Look at her. Furthermore, we must consider the possibility that the victim fought back. Okay, so she was so vicious in her attack that she killed someone, but at the same time, she was given amnesia. Hit over the head hard enough to just forget who she is. They can be like, oh, this is an act. But wouldn't this act be better if she just said she never saw someone in a red raincoat? Oh my god. It's far too early to come to that conclusion. Kay is not the criminal. There's no universe where you could even, like, think of a way that Kay could have done this. Jesus Christ.